okay? Like, so he's a drug dealer and a SoundCloud rapper.
The galactic, delicious cinematic. See what I be shooting with, a color like sack.
Hi everyone, it's Montreal in real life, and thank you for tuning in to my story in real life. So story time, picking up where I left off. I found out a bunch of things from this little outburst with strangers that my narcissist was weirdly infatuated with one of my best friends at the time. He has a strange AF relationship with his mommy, and that he was a drug dealer. So these are all things that happened later. So we're gonna start with drug dealing. This is the story all about how my life got twisted upside down. Take a few moments, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the girlfriend of a SoundCloud rapper slash drug dealer. Guys, like, I'm only mad because they told us back in 2012, don't date a SoundCloud rapper. And what did we do? Okay, so the last thing that I remember from that night was I drank tea with him and he was talking to me about how he doesn't like his mom, and then literally I had the most bizarre next 24 hours of my life. It started off with having a 24-hour trip. Literally, I slept for 24 hours, and when I had woke up, he was just coming back, and it was like 11 p.m. or something. It was literally 24 hours from like the time we had the tea. And during like my sleep, I had this weird ass trip where I was in the movie CoCo. Okay, I hadn't even seen it yet at that point, and I thought that that was just like what was happening. And then I woke up, he was coming home, and I was like, wait a minute, like, what just happened? Like, I was confused, I was dizzy. He was trying to act like, oh, are you okay? Like, you went pretty hard last night. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't even drink the night before. I didn't pregame. I didn't drink at the first house. I didn't drink at the second house. And then we didn't go to the third house. We came home and we had tea. So how was I asleep all day and tripping? And then he was trying to tell me, oh, we did go back to the third house. Where his friend had called us out and we had dropped off my friends. And I was like, wait, no, we didn't. Like, I don't remember going there. Like, I don't remember like going there. And so basically he was trying to tell me we did go there, and I got really turned. And I was like, wait, like, okay, not only do I not remember going there, but there's no way that I got turned because I'm not like hungover. I'm like, just like, I don't know, I had like a trip, so like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, oh, well, you probably like smoked weed or something. And he was like, look, right there, there's like a bowl of weed on his desk. And I was like, wait, like, how did we get weed? Like, you don't smoke. Like, he had told me at the time that he didn't, and would lies. And he was like, oh yeah, like, well, I just had it like for just in case. And I was like, okay, so we smoked? And he was like, well, no, I didn't smoke, you smoked, and that's probably why you like fell asleep all day. And I was like, wait, no way, like, no way, like, okay, like, what was it? Like, so we did go back to the house and party. Like, I don't remember anything like about going back there. I don't feel like I drank. Like, the last thing I remember, I was sober, and then, you know, I don't feel like I'm hungover or anything. And then thirdly, like, no way, like, one little bowl of like decayed weed got me so high that I slept 24 hours and dreamt that I was in the Pixar film CoCo. So I think that was a lie, and I think that he drugged me. I think he put drugs in the tea. And the reason I think this is because next I go out of the room, you know, I like freshen up a bit, and I go out of the room, and tell me why there's a bunch of like weird sus sketchy ass people like with like weed and nefarious drugs laid out on his dining table, and they're like sorting it. They're like, I don't know, what do drug dealers do? They're like sorting the to sell. And they were not people from our school. Actually, they were quite a bit older. My ex had told me that he met them at the bar, and I was like, okay, like, still suspicious. Like, who just brings people home from the bar with nefarious drugs sitting out on the dining room table? And, you know, I don't know, I was like stressed. Okay, the place where I went to school was sketchy as hell. okay? No offense to anyone whose hometown is Salem, Oregon, but that's sketchy as hell. My school is literally next to an alley where people did heroin all the time, and the person who I was, the crazy one, his house is on a street with a series of halfway homes, okay? I was like, why have you brought home these suspicious people with all these drugs laying out on the table? What is going on? He's like, oh, nothing, like, just go back to sleep, like, you're not feeling well. And he's trying to tell me that I'm like not feeling well, that I need to go back to sleep. Sorry, I just said that, so I repeated this. But like, sorry, I'm getting flustered because this was crazy. So literally the next day I went to like my counselor to talk about it. I was like, I like high-key think that my boyfriend's a drug dealer, but also I don't know really what's going on. I just like woke up from a like trip that I don't even know I had, and I don't remember like coming home. I mean, like going to the party after like going back to his house. And like at that time I wasn't like thinking like, oh, maybe he put something in the tea. It's only like later that I kind of put this together, that's probably what happened. Okay, so this literally wasn't recording. But anywho, so I'm talking to my counselor, and at this time, referencing my previous video on distractions, I was distracted AF. I was a senior last semester of college, writing my thesis, preparing the presentation, doing work for the FBI on cases of human trafficking. I was traveling from Portland all the time, and Portland to San Francisco. Listen, y'all, I was mad busy and distracted and probably really stressed out, but I'm pretty sure that's not what this was. Oh, rewind. The counselor said that I basically was like too stressed, and that's why I was like blacking out. And I was like, I'm not blacking out, I like blacked out, and like help me. That's a different segment, how those counselors were Anyways, basically I go back to his house and I was trying to ask him about it. I was like, yo, who were those people last night? And he was like, what people? And I was like, the people that you met at the bar, like what were their names? You brought them to the house, you were all doing stuff on the table. And he was like, there were no people here. And I was like, okay. Like, I low-key was just, like, I felt like I was going crazy, okay? He was gaslighting me into believing that I literally was tripping and that there was no people there. Ding dong. Some freshman knocks on the door. Yeah, he's like, excuse me, like 1 minute. Like, I'm not allowed to go with them. I was like, okay. So I'm looking out the window and they're just having a cigarette in the backyard. And then the narc exchanges some things with this person. They exchange some things, okay? And then they come back inside and then they start rolling up some joints. And I was like, wow, like, didn't know that you smoked. Like, you told me you didn't. And then all of a sudden there's like a bunch of weed in your house all the time. And he's like, well, it's not for me. It's just like, I'm just prepping them. They're pre-rolls for other people. I'm just helping out my friend. He references the kid. So I'm just helping him out, have a little business going on, a little side hustle. And I was like, oh, so you're selling pre-rolls, It's like, I'm not selling them, the kid's selling them, but I'm just like, I'm helping out. I don't know, I'm stressed. I'm like thinking like, do I report him? There's only a few weeks left of school, and honestly, at this point, I'm not really thinking straight. I feel crazy. He succeeded in making me feel like I was just tripping. And and it's not just that one incident that I'm talking about of him gaslighting me. I mean, like, if I shared every single little incident in between all of these major ones, like, this series would literally go on forever. And I'm not trying to do all of that. Okay, I'm trying to heal. Just in case, though, you do need those details, I mean, throughout this whole thing, there's little gaslighting, there's little belittlements and jabs and, physical behavior that's unacceptable. And it's culminating, and by this time when I'm literally watching him like roll these joints and like give it to this kid to sell, and like I know there was a bunch of people in the house last night, like who are they? I know like it happened, but like at this point I'm just so like overwhelmed with everything in my own life, with school, with him, that I'm just like, okay, like sure, like I'm not gonna really investigate. Like I just didn't have the energy to investigate it. I just didn't have the energy to like argue with him about it, to be made to feel even more crazy, to start something like with the administration in the last weeks of school. I was just exhausted, and that is one of the goals of the narcissist, is to exhaust you. And you know, I was pooped, and I never really thought about how I literally passed out for 24 hours after drinking the tea and had no recollection of anything else he was telling me that happened that night. It's only, you know, like I said, after that I remembered that and started piecing that situation together. I don't have any proof of it, but I think it's highly likely that he did drug me. He had access to those. It's like the culmination of lies. It's like, why would I even believe that he had nothing to do with it? Why would I even believe him when he said that we went back to that last house? You know, there's no one to corroborate that. My friends didn't see me there. You know, if my friends saw me there, you know, they would have told me. Maybe, I don't know. They weren't that good of friends, but they weren't like so shady that they would let him get away with doing something like that. That's what happened. That's how I like found out. No, I didn't do anything about it. I didn't want to. I was scared of like how he would act. I was exhausted, and I mean, I saw him do a lot more nefarious things, and those people came back around, and he just told me I didn't see them. Alrighty everyone, thank you so much for letting me share and for supporting me always. I will see you next time.
This right here, classic. Girl, just shake up. She got her OnlyFans. Girl, just make 'em.